Welcome to the show. Today we'll be discussing The Mandalorian Episode 6, The Prisoner.
Oh.
Discussing The Mandalorian Episode 6, The Prisoner. I'm Brian. I'm here with Spencer, and there's Coop. I don't know if Coop's in frame or not.
I don't think she is. She will be eventually.
She probably will be. But yeah, another episode. There's only 2 left. 2 weeks.
Yeah. This one is, man, there's what, in 6?
Yes.
It's in my top couple. It's in my top half, I guess. Because the first couple were real strong, but I like this one.
This one features the largest guest cast, roster. We had, as I dubbed them, the villain from Highlander, the wildling from Game of Thrones, the guy from Sons of Anarchy, the British comedian guy, and Bill Burr.
It's funny that he's the one that has the name.
Yeah.
Everybody else is like that one guy.
It's Bill Burr, man. And he was hilarious.
Yes. And I felt like everything that he did, I don't think it was improv, but his comedic timing it felt like a stand-up thing. Like everything he was delivering, it was very well done.
He has a show on Netflix, F is for Family.
It's amazing.
I watched the first season. I didn't watch beyond that. It's animated, but he does the father's voice. I don't know if he does any other voices on there, but
I think he does a couple.
He writes it, produces it, and everything.
It's really good.
Really good. But yeah, the cameos is what really made the episode. That and we'll talk about here in a sec. It was sort of like 2 different genres blended. So the first half of the episode is basically sort of a really quick heist type episode. They're breaking somebody out of prison, and so you gather. I mean, it's done really quickly. You form the group. You travel to the destination. You go through a few issues, and then you get to the item or the person that they're trying to get.
And I think that's once they got to the prisoner, which is the name of the episode, it shifted gears so fast. Like it went from, like you said, heist movie to Event Horizon.
Yeah, it turned into a horror movie completely.
It's like this stalker slasher film. All the lights turn red.
The lights turn, even the look of it, the way it was shot. There's the sequence. We're jumping all over, full spoilers. If you're new to the channel. The sequence in which the lights are clicking off and on, and the Mandalorian's moving through. This one, there's been a lot of people.
Felt like Alien, or is like.
I think I may have even complained that the Mandalorian gets his ass kicked a little too much in the series. This was the one where we saw what he was capable of. His intelligence, the level of threat, him taking down the droids, him outsmarting everybody. By the end of the episode, you realize that he played everybody.
Well, and he attacked each person differently.
Yes.
And that's, goes back to what you said with the intelligence. It goes from, brute force, how he had to take down somebody with brute force, and how fast the Twi'lek was. I don't remember her name in the episode, but it's the chick, the wildling from Game of Thrones. Her name's Natalie something.
Yeah.
But she was fast, but he adjusted to meet her speed. Like everything he did was an adjustment.
I didn't realize they had fangs within the Star Wars lore.
Well, I don't know because I've never seen them smile or talk. They were always just objects of Jabba's.
They were always. Lust. I think even in the Clone Wars, what little I remember that I saw, they were always sort of enslaved or just oppressed, and treated really poorly in that galaxy. But I don't recall the fangs before. Nothing wrong with them; they were cool, but something I noticed. But yeah, it turns into the horror film. He's dispatching them one by one. I love the fact that at least that core group that was with him survived in the end. setting up. We've been saying this. It's as if every episode is setting up a character that'll come into play maybe later. Maybe he's going to assemble a team later, or I don't know.
Well, and like we talked about, I don't think that this villain is very focused in this first season, but I think it's going to be Boba's going to end up being the villain in season 2.
That'd be awesome.
And he's going to have to develop a team to go after whatever team Boba puts together, whether it's Dengar, Bosk, IG-88. Like, I don't know what bounty hunter he's going to put together, because I think maybe the guild ends up being the bad guys in this.
Yeah.
Instead of, the Imperial or whatever
we've passed the point at which you can build a great villain, I think. There's only 2 episodes left. So, it is what it is. Going into any complaints I have, it's still, this was a very much one and done type episode, as was the last couple. So that's just seems to be the path that the show is on. And I don't mind it, really.
No, but like you said, I think that a lot of the complaints we would have wouldn't be coming up had this all came out at one time.
I agree.
Like them being,
I said that, yeah.
it's harder to tie parallels or know where they're going if we don't know where they're going.
If this was a show you binged in one sitting, I wouldn't be as concerned with that. Baby Yoda this week. Bill Burr dropped Baby Yoda. That was funny. I wonder if they just thought it'd be funny that Bill Burr dropped Baby Yoda. I don't know. That was great. I like the ending when Baby Yoda is attempting to use the Force to defeat the bug droid.
Zero.
There you go. Zero. Yeah.
That's the guy from the IT crowd.
Yes. And then the Mando shoots, and then Baby Yoda's like, wow, I thought, I was confused. Baby Yoda's cute as usual. Yet again, though, where's this going? There's 2 episodes left. These episodes have been averaging about 30 minutes. This one was a hair longer, but really they're about 30 minutes. So we technically, unless the last episode's really long, we have an hour left. That's it.
And I don't think that, I just don't understand the point yet. And there's, a couple shows that I've watched and gave up on because I didn't understand the point. And there's
Walking Dead.
Yes. I thought they lost their way.
That show, I could talk about that forever,
but I think that in this, I felt like they started with a very clear direction, but they've gotten away from that. So, I'm still invested because I love Star Wars and I'm really curious as to where it's going to go. Yeah. There's an hour left. I'm not going to not be invested for the last 2, but I think that the future of the show depends on, actually, I don't know.
There will be a season 2.
I know, but you look at shows like SVU, which is a procedural drama that's been around forever. CSI, all these things are procedural dramas. There's not an overarching story. There's normally something that happens that might carry a couple episodes, but that may be the path they're going.
A show I love, like The House. I was a huge House fan. And yes, there are story beats that sort of carry, but for the most part, outside of when they were trying to go after him, it's pretty much one and dones throughout. And yet I love that
Every
show.
episode they had lupus or whatever it was.
Sons of Anarchy guy was the most entertaining to me because he just played the guy from Sons of Anarchy. Like, he didn't even try to look. He was dressed the same.
Space biker.
It's like he came off the set of a show that's been on for years, and just played that role. Because everybody did their own. Bill Burr, even though he was a smart ass, which that's Bill Burr.
That's Bill Burr.
But he still was playing a character, and he tried to act. He was acting at points. I love the jabs at Gungans. He even made a Canto Bite jab, which I thought was great. I love that kind of stuff.
But like you said, I felt the characters that were added to this kind of gave it that biker vibe as opposed to Western, which I guess bikers are just more of a modern Westerns anyway.
Yeah, like I said, this one was more on that heist, horror. Yeah, it was a different kind of episode. than the last couple. The last couple were straight Western stuff, you know.
Oh yeah,
where
they were on Tatooine and everything. This one, and I mean, I have a whole tattoo contributed to the space parts of Star Wars, which this one was a lot of that. So I enjoyed the different X-wing cameos.
The X-wing was great. The X-wing, each pilot is a director from the series. That was really cool. That ending. All in all, it was a good episode. I think I definitely liked it more than last week. I might have liked it more than the last couple episodes. And you said it was one of your favorites.
Yeah, I mean the first,
I count the first three as almost an episode. That should have been a single pilot type thing, I think, because just sort of tells one story. It should have been really first three should have been one episode, and then the next three have all sort of been their standalones.
Yeah, and outside of the first three, this one's been my favorite out of the last several episodes.
I think so.
And it's just, to me, the pacing was better. The switching of genres, like halfway through, it was just like he got thrown in jail, and then immediately it switched.
Mm-hmm.
Like the lights started changing, everything switched in a matter of a moment, and it's how quickly it transitioned from one genre to the next. I liked. Like, it was quite clever.
Any other thoughts on this episode? That's the only thing about these one and dones.
I did notice a couple things though.
Okay.
It looked like the blaster that Zero had was the E-33 that Boba had, which I noticed while I was looking at it. Like, I don't know if that ties into anything.
Did Zero pick that up from Mando's ship, or did Zero have that?
I don't know. I don't remember, but he did have looked like the E-33.
Those giant floating droids did look like Daleks.
So I liked the pacing of it. I enjoyed it. I am curious to see what they're going to do with Baby Yoda going forward, and I am curious as to who else is coming. Because like we've talked about, how many of these people are coming back? Because I don't know if he's throwing a crew together. So
yeah,
to me, the Twi'lek, who he was mad at, but she seemed to got along best with him. Bill Burr didn't like him, but he seems to be just a hired gun, so who says he wouldn't help?
He'd be easy to bring.
Yeah. And everybody else he's met, the lady at the hangar, the Sigourney Weaver dude from Ghostbusters Offspring.
Gina Carano.
There you go. And they showed her they showed a lot of people at the beginning of this episode getting shot and killed.
Yeah.
You notice that, like the recap this week was her shooting the bounty hunter, him shooting the other guy who was trying to be a bounty hunter, him blowing up the bounty hunter's ship. So I don't know if this is building towards the final confrontation with the guild, or him finally running into Boba Fett, because it felt like it showed him showcasing him taking everybody out.
Yeah.
Which at the end of this episode he did. He didn't kill them though, which I thought was kind of an interesting twist too. With the exception of Zero, I don't know how droids work, if they can get put back together or not, but I mean, I guess they can, because C-3PO has been put back together about 50 times, so I don't know.
Speaking of C-3PO, that's a good segue. So next week is a weird week. The Mandalorian drops on a Wednesday, and then Rise of Skywalker is on Thursday. We have tickets. We will be seeing it that evening. As far as videos we put out, I don't know yet when or what. But there's so much Star Wars happening next week, we'll definitely be putting something up. So yeah, look forward to that. Rise of Skywalker is next week. Is there anything that you hope happens, hope doesn't happen? Like we honestly, we haven't talked about it a whole lot. At all, not even not off cam, even
not since Last Jedi.
Honestly, we really haven't.
I've said this since episode 7 that I think the Rey and Kylo are Luke's kids. I think that he separated them just like he got separated. I think there was a lot of parallels, but I do think that we're going to find out they're Luke's kids this episode. Rey's not going to be. I think we're going to find out that Rey's his, and Ben is also his, because I don't think because Leia wasn't real close to.
Are you someone who thinks Ben or Kylo can be redeemed. That's probably one of the biggest debates online. Is it a character that can be redeemed? Does he have to die? Can he survive? Can he be a redeemed hero type character?
I think that I don't think he's strayed that far.
That's like the number one. When you really look at any arguments, that's about the only.
I don't think that it's not like Vader where, he redeemed himself. He killed kids. But that's what I'm saying.
If Vader could be redeemed,
yeah,
Kylo
hasn't done a whole lot. Like, he hasn't killed a bunch of people. He has leading a bunch of people to do bad things is still bad. So Kylo does have that under his belt, but he personally hasn't slaughtered kids, and it's Anakin went around legitimately killing kids.
Yeah.
So I think that his path is still pretty easily redeemable, but I also think that at the end of this, perhaps Rey goes to the dark side, because there's been a lot of those trailers that are trying to trick you, but I think that perhaps she does.
So
I don't know.
We've talked about how the Mandalorian has us excited for merchandise. I buy a Bill Burr figure, for instance. Is the Rise of Skywalker solely based on trailers? Is there any merchandise that you're interested in buying? Have they sold you on anything?
Not merchandise-wise, unless they have a toy that is their battle that's on the ocean. It shows the water fight. If they had, Rey and Kylo there, I think that might be something. But because there's been toys that have been sold where it shows Obi-Wan and
stage, or a set piece.
Yeah, I think that would be cool. But I haven't seen any toys that got me sold. And like you said, the Sith Troopers and all that stuff. I don't care.
Yeah, I agree.
Wonder if Phasma will be in this one at all.
I hope not. Honestly, they ruined it already. I don't see how you can fix it in one movie. I don't know if they have time to. So yeah, like I said, a lot of Star Wars coming up this week, and we will be putting something out. We'll see what. Anything else? No. All right. So you can check me out tomorrow, Monday, December 16th, on lrmonline.com. I'll be on the LR Morning Podcast. You can hear me on there. Also, do yourself a favor and check out, especially if you're a fan of the EU, they did an interview last week. It was on, I don't think I wrote it. Oh, I did. It was on Wednesday, December 11th. It was 2 parts. It's part of the LR Morning Show. You can find it. They did an interview with Michael A. Stackpole. He's the guy that he wrote a bunch of BattleTech stuff, but for Star Wars, he wrote the X-Wing series, so if you're a big Wedge Antilles fan, or I, Jedi, Corran Horn, he wrote all that stuff. They did a really in-depth interview with him. It was really cool. Check that out. Obviously, Pulp Mythos still 81 strong. That sub hasn't gone up or down in so long. I assumed it would go, even if it went down, no, it hasn't. So if you have not subscribed, subscribe. Trying to get to 100. It's been at 81 for so long. And they just did a bunch of purges again on subscribers.
I imagine by the end of this month there's going to be a whole bunch of...
we'll see what happens. But yeah, see you next week.